So I think one of the most important parts about that acronym and SMART goal setting is the ending, timely. You got to put you got to put a point on it, or else you can procrastinate.
Sure.
Push it.
Welcome to the Resilient Gentleman Podcast with your hosts, Douglas Berger and Christopher Payton. This show is all about forging unbreakable men on a path to greatness. Welcome to the show.
Welcome back to the Resilient Gentleman Podcast. Sitting here with Douglas Berger of Trans World Business Advisors. I'm his co-host, Chris Payton, the 615 negotiator.
Your car buying superhero.
That's it.
See, I figured it out. It took me 4 episodes.
That's all right.
6 counting the making of.
Yeah, we're almost there.
I'm a fast learner.
So I threw this out there last week as we were wrapping up the episode.
I almost forgot.
I wanted to dive into your head and learn more about like your overall goal. You set all kinds of goals, physically, financially, work and business and all that stuff. You set all those goals, but like your over the top goal, over everything, not over the top meaning like too big, but your
reach.
You're like, what all those goals tied to is happiness.
Yep.
And so whether it's a certain body fat percentage or whether it's hitting a certain income level or whether it's how many deals you did a month or how many times you made it to the gym or whatever your goal is, you have this overlying goal of, I want to be happy.
Yep.
So whatever I'm doing, I want to be happy.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to steal I don't understand how to make that a goal. And it's really, I mean, just kind of being transparent and honest. Like,
yeah.
I've never structured my life around happiness.
Yep.
And so tell me a little bit about like where that came from. Was it more recent? Was it like as a kid, I knew I wanted to be happy. And so I needed a Nintendo. And as I
don't know. I've always had a positive attitude.
Okay.
So, I think that is the ultimate goal, is being happy. Maybe that's the entire combination of everything.
Okay.
That you're working for, or like your personal life, your professional life, physicality, all of it combined. And or is each segment a stepping stone so I can be happy? What are the things can I do to put myself in that best possible position to be better and to be happy? I'm definitely happier when I'm in better shape, when I look better, when I feel better, when I have energy, and so on with work. All right. If I'm successful, if work's going well, I'm going to be more happy than if it's not. So what am I doing to accomplish those work goals so I am happy? And then the personal life, like the emotional side of it, your family, your friends. Am I doing enough in those situations and relationships to be happy as well? And then the ultimate, combine them all. Am I happy? Right. Or am I where I want to be? Not yet. But I know it takes time, but I don't want to be old yet either.
Right.
So I want to take it in stride. However, the ultimate goal is to be happy throughout the whole entire process. So what can I do in all those different segments so I am happy?
All right. So I'm going to ask this question. You might not be able to answer it. Is there a bucket of happiness, like, or a tank of happiness? Like, can I fill my happiness tank, or is it more a matter of like, it's just a state of being?
I think
I'm happy.
Actually, this is perfect timing. So I've been pretty calm since we moved here. Okay. So the presence here and just being in this state, I don't know, it's very more laid back, relaxing environment. And I've growing up and even into, well, adulthood, and well known to family and friends, close friends or whatever, I have a temper.
Yeah. Okay.
And, you know, you could be, I don't want to say you're like one of those drivers where you're going to pull over and fight somebody, but you can get aggravated with somebody. Someone cut me off earlier, and I think back, you know, maybe as soon as just a few years ago, be ticked off about it or something, you know, well, this guy did that and then cuts me off and slams on the brakes. I was like, that's a difference of your mental fortitude or how you think about it. Like, I didn't even let it bother me. I just backed up and let him do his thing. It has nothing to do with me anyway. So like that kind of stuff, you do have a choice. You don't have a choice of control of what people do to you,
Right.
say to you, do to you, but you definitely have full control of how you respond to it. And that's one of the things that I found recently is I've been able to control myself with things of that sort, just water off a duck's back.
Okay. So maybe the better way to put it is happiness variable. Like, can you get angry about someone cutting you off and still be happy? Or do you think that forgoes the happiness?
I think you got to be careful where you're going.
Okay.
How long is that negativity going to last? And then is that going to change? And is that going to reroute your future and how much of it? If you're mad and say you're like one of the people that decides to chase him down and have road rage, I mean, you're talking about a permanent detour possibly, because something really bad could happen.
Sure.
But if you just let it go, nothing changed.
Yeah.
No big deal. Someone cut me off. So, you know, let me go back to work, or let me go back to my podcast, or let me go back to the radio station or the audiobook I was listening to, or get refocused back on where I was headed anyway, for our next appointment, whatever it was.
Yeah. Love it. So do you have like a window of time where you can look back and say, all right, this is when I decided I'm going to be happy. I'm going to make this happen.
So I think at different stages, you have happiness when you achieve whatever you're wanting to achieve at that time. And then maybe if you didn't quite achieve it, you can look back in retrospect and see how you can adjust it. I don't think there's ever an ultimate ending to it, really, because how can I say at one point, am I really going to be 100% undeniably happy, and then I'm done? All right, I'm good. I don't have to do anything else.
Right.
I'm happy. And then what happens? Then you start going backwards again anyway. But yeah, there's definitely some things I want to accomplish and have things done and things at a certain level by a certain time. But I think part of the growth and happiness of it too is going through the journey.
Interesting. Okay.
And learning more.
Yeah, I like that. So if we set ourselves some goals and we use the hitting of those goals or accomplishing those goals, we can tie happiness to that, I guess.
Yeah. So, you're going to say you have a long-term goal.
Okay.
Say 12 months down the line, but every month you have a checkpoint.
Okay. Milestone, checkpoint.
Whatever it is. So at that moment, at that first milestone or checkpoint, you see where you are in relation to the trend of you hitting. And if you're on track, then great. That's an additional motivator because you accomplished that. So that's happy in itself too. And you're talking about goal setting. So I think we can probably even break that down a little bit, because the same points I think where you're getting at is, I don't know if everybody's heard of SMART goals. Have you heard of SMART goals?
Heard of them.
And what the acronym
It's
is.
an acronym, right?
Yep. So specific, manageable, attainable, realistic or relevant, and then timely.
Okay.
So I think one of the most important parts about that acronym and SMART goal setting is the ending, timely. You got to put a point on it, or else you can procrastinate.
Sure.
Push it back, and it needs to be hard. I mean, why is there deadlines at work, or deadlines anywhere for things, or at school?
Yeah.
Right. Like when you have to do a project or a study or whatever, there's a due date, and most of the time you cram at the end to get it done, and there it is.
Yeah, right.
So we can break those down step by step, like specific. The more specific you can get to it, like your body weight or your body percentage.
Yeah, we talked about
That's pretty
last
specific.
week. It's very specific.
So you're 22 and a half. You want to
Yep.
get down roughly 3% and 8 pounds or whatever it is. So that's a pretty specific goal. I want to get under 20%. All right. And then we got the S. And then what about the T? Timeline. What do you think is fair? 30 days, 60 days?
8 pounds, 30 days feels realistic.
So that's 2 pounds a week. 60
I went
days would
back
be
to-
1 pound a week.
They are
See, there you go.
realistic.
And or relevant. All right.
Okay.
Perfect. So, and then
I think it's attainable. I mean, I think I can accomplish it.
it is. And then what's the M? Measurable.
Measurable. Yeah. I mean,
What's the scale?
Obviously, the scale's our measurement tool. Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
great.
So we have a specific goal, right, that you can measure, that's attainable, and like you said, is it realistic?
Okay.
So we could say all day, like say we have a real stretch goal. So you have your goal that you're 95% sure you're going to meet it. However, you could have a stretch goal just in case, like to push you a little bit harder. However, that probably wouldn't be in the realm of realistic. And then you got to take in consideration all your past experiences and then anything else that maybe has held you back in the past.
Okay.
So that's where you have to have that moment is, all right, to you at this point, is it attainable in 4 weeks? Because we can adjust it if we need to go 6 or 8. Because the whole idea is to make sure that we get there. And then the longer
I don't know
that
if
you're involved,
our audience wants to wait for me to hit. I think they're thinking,
Well,
yeah, no, you got to do it in 4 weeks.
it could just be a backdrop at that
Yeah.
point. We just do it. Hey, here's an update on
Yeah.
the superhero. That's a clip, by the way, for the advertisement. The superhero
hopefully,
needs to
yeah.
lose weight.
Hopefully, I don't go backwards because then that ties back to like what it would really not be fun if I hit
So
24%.
So here
at the
comes
end of 4
accountability.
weeks. Yeah.
That's involved. How do we do that? So here we go. Once a week, you and I will check in with each other.
Okay.
So I will be your accountability partner. So whatever
Alright.
day that we pick, we guarantee to see each other on Thursday morning because of B&I.
Right.
So, all right, when I see you Thursday morning, I mean, we text it every day anyway, but maybe at least once a week on Thursday morning when we're face to face, we talk about it. Or, all right, where are you? How's it looking? And probably a quick text, maybe one other time or something during the week to follow up with it too, just to make sure.
Okay.
Probably don't want to, especially in the beginning, you don't want to have too much time away from it without being on the top of your mind because we don't want you to start steering away. I don't think you would, but however, a quick check-in is probably worth it.
I like it. Okay.
So there we
Let's
go.
do that.
So basic structure of a SMART goal. And I think a lot of them can be started that way and make sure you have a decent framework of it.
Okay. So happiness, hitting goals,
Yeah.
achieving the goals. I don't have the Webster dictionary definitions of happiness versus joy versus contentment.
Right.
But, if we were to talk about being happy or being joyful, are those the same thing? I mean, I sometimes think of somebody being joyful as being like laughing all the time or like cutting up or
Maybe joyful is a step up from happy, but I don't
Okay.
think it's a permanent condition.
Interesting.
I
Is
think-
happiness a permanent
I
condition?
think happiness, I think the majority of your time you can be happy, but can you be joyful most of your time?
Yeah. I don't know.
It sounds like joyful is more outspoken
Okay.
or eccentric or extroverted versus introverted. Like you have a moment of joy. I'd like to think happiness is probably more permanent, more often, almost all your time. I don't think you're 100% always going to be happy or whatever because you got stuff that happens at
Right.
any time. But the majority of your mindset should be in a happy mode, maybe. I don't know. That's probably a pretty crazy
I think
question.
we
How do you
talked
compare
about
it?
early on in one of the making of contentment and us having the challenge of being in business and then in the dealership, and the contentment is month to month, and even then if you don't hit your goals for the month or objectives in the dealership world, you are fighting that battle as well.
Yeah,
Of like,
then the pressure's coming.
Now, how do I even get the happy,
Not going to be
joyful,
many
contentment?
moments
No.
of joy in that situation.
Right. So, can you be content and not happy?
I doubt it,
Yeah.
because if you are content, aren't you technically happy?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, I guess, and you know, I'm not trying to
Happy being content?
define words necessarily, but I do like the thought process of, you know, how do we
Go beyond
how do we
happy?
achieve well, and you know, Sabrina always questions like, why can't you just be happy with hitting a goal? Or why can't you just be content with that? Like, why do you have to push for more now?
Oh,
Like,
that's where this is
let's
coming
say,
from.
well, let's say I hit that 20%, or I get below the 20% mark. Of course, me as I'm going to want to, oh, I did that. Let's do 3 more, or let's
Correct.
do
And you should.
5 more, you know, or whatever. Let's get to 15. We could do it.
Yep.
How are we happy with all right, I crossed the 20 mark and I hit that goal,
What's next?
maintain contentment, but also be okay with what's next.
Yeah, so being at that level, I mean, the theory is at 20% body fat for a male, you can be completely healthy. You don't have the side effects of weight at that point.
Okay.
I think it should be a little bit lower, but that doesn't matter. So technically you could be 100% healthy at that, and you probably could be content. Now it's going to take effort to maintain that. You just can't say, okay, I've reached it, so here we go. Let me stop working out, exercising, let's forget about the diet. Then it's just going to go backwards.
Right.
So you definitely have to still maintain, but it's harder to get somewhere than it is to maintain. It's easier to maintain once you're there.
Yeah.
Like 3 to 5 workouts a week.
Right.
Just like how many sets do you do working out, right? 3 to 5 to maintain, 5 to 7 to grow, and or once a week versus twice a week body part in relation.
Sure. So, you know, you talked about it in one of the episodes, one of the first, or maybe the making of, when we were talking about your prior couple years to you moving here and all the stuff and family and death and lots of stuff going on. Did you maintain, or were you able to achieve happiness during those windows?
Oh, it was hard.
Yeah.
It was very hard. Like there was months where there wasn't much happiness.
Yeah.
And because of all those challenges, I grew a lot. Like emotionally, especially.
Interesting.
You can even ask my wife. She'll be the first one to tell you, I am so much more of a nicer person. Compassionately, right? Communication, open, talkative. And that's one of the things that all those things, and running that store was one of the big ones, because you have so many people coming and going, and you know how it is. You can't train, motivate, and hold accountable the same way to every person.
Sure.
Every person's different. Every person motivates different. And that really helped me a lot going through that. So I'm very happy that I went through that. It's like one of those things, though, if I look back at it and if I knew all the stuff I'm going to go through, do I really want to go through that again? Probably wouldn't choose it. However, what the benefits that I gained from it are immense.
Wow.
Really.
It's interesting that, you know, even in emotional battles, mental battles, you know, because, you know, while, yes, your brother and your father-in-law, they were going through the health challenges that led to them passing. But looking at it from our perspective, or your perspective in that window, you also see how that was essentially like training you emotionally.
It was.
And growing you to a new capacity for empathy and for communication, like you said, and being a different person through that.
I used to think I was pretty good at emotional intelligence before that, because I always tend to have a good bit of empathy.
Okay.
I feel I can put myself in other people's shoes, but phew, what was I wrong with the emotional intelligence? I'm way above I was then. I'm still nowhere near to be great at it. Like, I'm still not a great talker or communicator. You know,
We found
with
that
emotion.
out over the last 6-7 episodes.
Sometimes I have pyorrhea and it just starts coming out, but no, like especially the hard conversations and the communication with when it becomes emotional on personal levels aren't super easy for me.
So, in that window of time, Wanda was flying back and forth to Puerto Rico a lot.
Yeah, for a month at a time, 6 weeks at a time, 5 days at a time, depending.
That creates a whole level of challenge for you as a man.
Yeah, when you book a one-way flight,
right,
it's kind of weird. When you coming back?
Right.
Don't know.
Right.
Yeah, it was wild.
So you're not going to see your wife. I'm trying to have this overlying goal of happiness. My wife's not here. I got to cook, clean, take care of my house, work, do all the things around here. And one of the, not to dive down a massive rabbit hole of, sex, but that's an important factor in a man's life, right?
It is. I mean, and if she ain't there, then
it's hard to maintain happiness.
The well's dry.
Maintain happiness and maintain satisfaction and all that stuff. So
good thing I'm in my 50s.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, in those windows, a lot of guys will turn to vices or challenges and things like that. Were you able to focus on like fitness and stuff like that in that window?
Yep. I walked the line.
Yeah.
I walked the line. Like the whole way, like, especially when it comes to my relationship with my wife. I walked the line. I'm a damn good husband and proud of it. And that aspect's easy for me. And I'm so focused on the day in and outs, right? And the other thing too, like when you're younger, so that's a good point, is, just don't put yourself in a bad situation.
Right.
So if you get up in the morning, you go to the gym, you go work, and then at that time it was long hours. So you go home, you eat, and shut down.
Yeah, time for bed. Yeah.
And when you get content with that consistency of that schedule, it's pretty rewarding.
Yeah.
And you feel good too, physically.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a roller coaster though, the physicality and more so the emotion of it, because then throughout the day, then the night, and whatever, the phone calls and then everything else, like the updates, and you got to be resilient. You really do. Because what happens when you get that really bad information? It just plows you across the face. You got to take it in, and then how are you going to respond to it? Right. Whatever you can do to better the moment for whoever the situation is, and whatever you can do, then you do it, and then refocus.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned earlier, and I think it's important because in a negative space, in a negative period of time, when things don't feel like they're going the right way, or health is a challenge, or, my wife's out of the state for a month at a time.
Yeah, and then what if something happens while she's there?
Right. All those factors. You mentioned that you maintain a positive attitude. Yep. How do you refocus that energy to be positive? Like,
I think for me, I think it comes more naturally for me to be positive than I think for, I don't know, most people. I wouldn't know. I hope to think that most people just wake up and they're positive, but some are not. I mean, some people you talk to and they're negative.
Right.
It's the old saying, if you want to find the negative of something, you will.
Yeah.
Just like if you want to find the positive in something, you will. That doesn't mean everything has to be positive and negative or whatever you want it to be. However, I think your general outlook plays a huge part on everything else. Bless you.
Man.
Gesundheit.
Excuse me. So having that positive attitude, I was listening to a podcast with Mel Robbins, She's become pretty successful in the podcasting space, and in business and in life. And I think she even said she doesn't want to be called a life coach, even though that's what she does in large part. But one of the things she said is like the first thing she does, even at that level of success, first thing she does is she, as she wakes up, today's going to be a good day. And you could have all kinds of things going on in your world. And she was saying how, I could be headed to a funeral today, but today's going to be a good day. Yep. And I'm going to be there for this family, or I'm going to do this for, and do you look at, like, throughout your day, do you look at like tiny wins? I mean, are you that type of person where you're like, oh, that was a great conversation, I'm going to chalk that up as something I should focus on? Or,
I mean, yes, maybe not systematically, but definitely by the time the day is drawing to an end, I will have a feeling within me that I feel like I either accomplished enough or I didn't. And if I didn't, guess what I do? I get back to work and I start doing more. Say, all right, what's the most important thing I can do right now to get me to where I want to go? Just like business. So your most important thing that you can do at that moment is what's going to generate income faster. So that's where I start first, and then maybe even go back to the task list and see what's on there that's been either pushed off or doesn't need to be done. Right. But yeah, I just have a natural feeling with me, because I used to be one of those that, I mean, there's a reason why there's hundreds of motivating speakers.
Sure.
Because I think positive mental attitude and motivation is not permanent. Or else why would a successful person have to get up in the morning and say, I'm going to have a good day?
Well, but that goes back to your hope was that you wanted to believe that people get up and they're positive, but that's not, I don't think that's the case. I think you're right. Like there's a level of person or a type of person that's like, today's going to be a crappy day. Like they just, and unfortunately that's something that's really hard to overcome, because what happens when that's your attitude? You manifest a crappy day.
Exactly. And then if you have that ability to have an alternative perspective and empathy to realize everybody's different.
Yeah.
Because I used to go to all the motivational speakers and watch and listen and read tons and tons and tons of books. And as the older I got, I don't have to do it as much because it's more ingrained. Because I'm happy most of the time. I'm motivated most of the time.
Well, you've established some of the principles. You've got them in your life. So someone who hasn't listened to motivational speakers, or, we all think of Chris Farley when he did, I'm a motivational van down by the river, that whole bit, right?
Yep.
And he was a motivational speaker, and that's not necessarily what you're talking about. You're talking about people with proven track records and success in a given space, and know how to be positive and maintain that level of attitude. I sometimes question, though, if there are people that just kind of want the drama.
Yep.
Is that real too?
Yep.
I mean, have you seen that?
Yep.
In your world?
Yeah, they're everywhere. Negativity's everywhere. You think about it. Even some of your people in your, maybe, hopefully not, but even in your inner circle or sub inner circle, not everybody has your back.
Right.
Not everybody's positive all the time. Not everybody's reinforcing. Not everybody's supportive and positive, or go get them.
Right.
So I think that's a challenge in itself, to have that, and have your circle of influence the people that you need in your life.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the ones that you want or have. Like that's some big changes sometimes, is to hire and fire friends.
Ooh. Yeah. And I think they can feed into your attitude,
what you're putting
right?
out.
I mean,
100%.
if the conversations you're having are relative to all their negativity, guess what you're going to start thinking about is all the negative things in your life, right? And so, you know, it's crazy how both negative and positive people or outlooks attract more of that energy.
Yep.
But also, I mean, and this goes into something we can talk more in the future about, you know, just that manifestation of a reality that maybe you thought about, or, you know, that perspective that you put on something. You know, you and I can both walk outside and oh man, it's raining. Man, I got the car washed and I did all this stuff, and you're like, man, it's raining. I planted some vegetables and some seeds, and now those are gonna grow.
Or thank God it's raining. I don't have to wash the car today.
Right. So there's just a perspective of how it impacts your world.
Exactly. Your perspective is everything. Your positive mental attitude is everything.
So let's plan to talk about that next
Yeah, that's
week.
a good one.
Manifesting what we think about, both in not The Secret, you know, that Oprah video that they put out 15 years ago, but you know, I do believe that there's a level of what we think about we become.
I agree.
And so I think we can dive into that and really kind of hone in on some of the things that make us who we are and the lives that we're living based on what we think about.
Cool. I'm all for it.
Excellent.
I'll be right here.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate you hanging with us. I am Chris Payton, the 615 Negotiator.
Douglas Berger, your borough broker with Transworld Business Advisors of Murfreesboro.
Awesome, man. See you next
Peace.
week.
Thank you for listening to the Resilient Gentleman podcast. Be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, and of course, please leave us a 5-star review. We will see you on the next one.